people are like, yeah, find your happiness, ask yourself these questions, like trust yourself. Like I just want to, like, for those who've been stuck in a way, right? It's kind of like, yeah, that's cute. How do I get that? How do I know that that's where I'm at?
You cannot start with a big thing, like you said. It's cute. It says it sounds simple. Just trust yourself, right? But it's
Right.
more than that. For me, it was like little things, like when I said to myself, I'm gonna get up without like hitting the snooze button like 10,000 times. I did it. Like that is like trust, respecting your boundaries, like little things like that. Or you're getting up and
Oh,
making the
so you
bed.
stop lying to yourself. Guys, are y'all dreaming of blue sky days where everything clicks, juggling it all and feeling like something's missing? So, welcome to Overflowing Buckets, where people give freely from their overflowing bucket to fill others up. Today, someone's here to create a joy fueled life. Christina is here to help us explore holistic wellness, mindset shifts, and practical strategies to align your body, mind, and spirit. So, get ready to create your blue sky days. Everyone, Christina Hall. So, Christina, some things I thought would be fun to talk about today are like, okay, so like some of your joyful living principles, the core tenets, connection to abundance, connection to fulfillment, also filling your bucket, like the practical side of it, like self-care strategies, prioritizing joy, energy management for giving back. Let's see, overflowing and giving, like in that area, let's talk about how joy fuels the giving, some real life examples that you have, and some coaching success stories. Sound good?
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, so tell me the core tenets that you have around joyful living principles, like, or I guess it's joy fueled.
Yes. Joy fueled. So many things. Thank you, first of all, for having me. I'm very excited to be here and to be able to share.
Thank you.
So, joy fueled is really, it started, and I have you tell the quick backstory. It started
Okay.
with me like 10, 15 years ago at this point, to ask myself, what is, why am I happy? That was like the core question, because everything back then was like, everybody was like, let's go on vacation. The beach vacation was a success. Having the house, the car, the brand car, right? And I'm like, does that mean success to me? And what makes me happy? I didn't know. I didn't know anymore. So I started down that road and started to Google it and started to read books about it. The Happiness
Ah,
Project is a great one. And I really asked myself questions. And that's the biggest thing. Guys, everyone listening, ask yourself questions. Because nobody else can answer it for you. We see so much on social media. What makes people happy? Why you should be happy? It starts with you, and it starts figuring out what it is that you like, what makes you happy, and what is success, and what does a happy life look like to you. That is the
so some
most important.
questions are what happiness looks like to you
Yes.
versus, and that can be hard because a lot of times we're looking at like what it looks like on social media or what it
Hmm.
looks like it other people tell us it should be, right? So how
Yeah.
did you get to the place where you were able to identify what happiness looked like specifically for you versus all the things that maybe other people find to bring them happiness? How did
Yes.
you
There are
discover that?
two things. And I will say it was a journey. And I took my time. You can do it like really targeted approach and ask yourself those questions, write it down, and be done like in a couple days, maybe even a week. I took a little longer because I like to take longer. I don't know why. I always re-question and overthink stuff. But in the end, I did two things. The first thing was I really got to know me. What that means is, who is Christina? Because that's one thing in my journey, and I feel like a lot of people have lost that too. I didn't know who I was anymore because I had put labels, different people put labels on me, and I believed that that was me, which wasn't,
And
and
you
I feel
also
like,
go through different seasons, right? Like
yeah,
who you are today is not the same you've gotten different experiences. So you're a different Christina today than you were 5 years ago, 5 minutes ago,
Yes.
heck.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. But for me, and maybe some of people can relate too, especially when it comes to wellness, that's like a part of my story is because when I was 10 years old, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease and a chronic pain condition. And I was told that you're just going to have to struggle with it. Again, I was told, like, right? Because that's what they have to do. And that
You were
was
told
my,
that and you took it in and you took it on.
yes. Yes, I took it on. For 20 years, I struggled because I thought, oh, well, I
Oof.
cannot feel better. I'm not supposed to. They are telling me that I can't. So why should I? Right?
Yeah.
What do I think who I am to be able to feel good again? And it took that time, like that, asking myself, like, what do I like actually? That took me to, okay, back to childhood, like what did I like as a kid, right? What made
Mm.
what was something that I had fun doing? Where something that you can ask yourself is like, if if you're doing this thing, you forget time. Like you think 5 minutes pass and it's 2 hours, and you don't even realize it. Like that is one
Yeah.
thing that really like, okay, that is something I like. So this is like things that I saw, that I paid attention to, that I try to remember from my childhood. What was I doing? What did I really like? You know? And for me, like because of my history with my health, I became that shell of a person, that shy person, because I didn't dare to do anything because I was sick. Like I'm not supposed to be doing this because I'm sick. I'm not allowed
Oh,
to do that, right? That came my persona, and then other people labeled me like, oh, Christina is the shy person. Oh, Christina is the introvert. You know, Christina
hmm,
doesn't dare to do that, and she doesn't speak up. And I'm like, no, that's not me. Like, I speak up. I want to talk. I am playful. I want to have fun. You know, and I didn't. So that came through because of looking back
yeah.
and really sitting down like what it is. It's a lot of those questions like, what do you like? What makes you happy? Where do you spend time? And you forget about time because you have so much fun. And then also going back to what, and that might be a little bit more like in the personal development arena,
Hmm.
but it's so important to be able to go back to trusting yourself, understanding yourself, knowing who you are. And I feel like a lot of people also don't trust themselves. That's why they don't do things, or they don't believe that they can do things, or like in my case, didn't believe that I can feel better, because I wasn't trusting myself. I wasn't trusting my body. And I want everybody to know and really take that in. You can. You can
Hmm.
trust yourself. Um, so
So what does that
those,
look like? What does that feel like when you trust yourself? Because I think it's like if that's not your norm, right?
mhm.
How do you know when you've made that flip, that switch, that you
It's
trust
like,
yourself? I feel like it's one of those things people are like, yeah, find your happiness. Ask yourself these questions. Like trust yourself. Like I just want to like for those who've been stuck in a way, right? It's kind of like, yeah, that's cute. How do I get that? How do I know that that's where I'm at? Like,
that is such a good question. And I can tell you for me and how I've helped others do that too is trust. You cannot start with a big thing like you said. It's cute. It says it sounds simple. Just trust yourself, right? But
right.
it's more than that. Yes, it for me it was like little things, like when I said to myself, I'm gonna get up without like hitting the snooze button like 10,000 times. I did it. Like that is like trust, respecting your boundaries, like little things like that. Or you're getting up and
Oh,
making the
so you
bed.
stop lying to yourself.
Yes, yeah. In that regard, you have to stop lying to yourself. And for me, it was also like I don't know who can relate, but I'm a big procrastinator. If I do not like something that I don't want to do, I procrastinate the heck out of it. Like I'm pushing it away from me. Um, and doing those things first instead of like
Mm.
going to the things that I like doing also helped me to, oh yeah, you can do this, like you're good, that's fine. um
Have you read the
those were
five
like the
second
little steps.
rule?
What?
The 5 second rule by Mel Robbins. Have you read the
Yes,
book Five
yes,
Second? Yeah, so five
yeah,
second, five, four, three, two, one, just do it. I love that.
exactly.
And I think it's also, and it sounds like you just need to learn to be extremely honest with yourself. So maybe like if you're not going to do it, don't tell yourself you're going to do it, right?
Yeah,
Like be
yeah,
like extremely honest with yourself to the point to where you will believe and trust the thoughts and trust yourself.
yeah. For me too, I don't know. So I'm a procrastinator. I'm also a people pleaser. So that was the other area that I really needed to work on, and I feel like a lot of people might be able to relate here. When you say
Absolutely.
yes to things, and you're like, but your whole body, it almost feels in your body like when you tension or when your shoulders like come up or you have that weird knot in your stomach. Like your body is telling you too. Like when you don't want to do something or you shouldn't do something because it's just not up
It's
your
not
alley. Like,
joy. It's not
yes,
joyful. Yeah,
exactly.
it doesn't fuel you with joy. It
Yep.
becomes it's a joy suck.
Yes. And that's the other thing, like trusting yourself and trusting your body and becoming aware of those little signs. Like what is your body
Mm.
telling you? Or like the biggest thing for me, because that was another label I got put on, is I'm clumsy. Like I run into everything, I spill everything. You know, that was my one of my labels from my family, and bless them, like I love them, but didn't help growing up, let me tell you. But understanding that the next time, like becoming aware of, if I spilled something, what do I feel? What do I tell myself? How do I talk to myself, right?
Mm.
How do I feel afterwards? Do I carry it with me all day long? It's just water that you spilled, or if you spilled juice whatsoever, it doesn't
So
matter,
what's the
right?
shift? What's the language shift for like, but let's go with spilled milk. You know, they say don't cry over spilled milk.
Yeah.
So let's say before you spilled milk, what did you say? And now when you spill milk, how has that like actually shifted for you?
Yeah. Like when I spilled milk, for example, yes, I would say, how stupid are you? Like, why did you do that again? Of course
Uh,
you did it because you're clumsy. You know, all these, like all that negative thing, like usually what other people would say, I just took it in and my subconscious, unconscious, like would tell me again. And when I became aware, like again, it was a gradual process for me to really talk nicely to myself. Like the first step is being aware what you're telling yourself,
yeah.
and then you can shift it. But it for me, it was also like the next time I did it, yes, I was aware and I still said it, but then I actively rephrased it, like it doesn't matter, like I clean it up, it's done.
Clean up. So I'm curious, did you change the people in your life who, because you, like you said, you had mentioned the words that they had told you and the things that they said you that you chose to believe. And then when you became aware they didn't serve you, you changed those people. Did you just like not allow them to have as big of a voice in your life?
Yes, that is a good one. And that is also, I feel like a lot of people will say, oh, that's cute. You can just change people. I can change my family. I can change my job. I cannot change the teachers because I'm going to school. Yes, you can, and you don't have to. But you can almost like you still have to interact with them. And I didn't really, cut ties with them at all. But I took what they said and kind of like a little exercise, and it might sound as silly to somebody, but it went in the one ear and out the other. Like I didn't let it rumor around in my head and take it in. It's just like, okay, yeah, that's what they think. That's not
That's
me. And
their
what I
baggage, and it's probably a
yes,
reflection of themselves. It's not a reflection of you. A lot of times, have you found like when you change the people, it's not their baggage that they carry is different
yes, based on their experiences and how they
based on
grew
their
up.
experiences.
Yep, what they've done in life. But then going back, like I didn't change those people, but I looked to other people that I could follow that have a more positive attitude. And I made a lot
Yeah.
of friends online. They don't even know that I'm their friend, like Mel Robbins. Gary Vaynerchuk is another one. Tony Robbins. Like I followed them, I consumed their content as much as I could. I read like all the books that I could, and then I spent less time with those other people. And whatever they said, it was like almost like it got blocked because I had that wall up that I don't need to take
Yeah.
that in. It's your perspective, you know?
They didn't have the influence. They no
Yes.
longer had influence on you. I love that. So when you shifted and you started have allowing choosing who impacted you and who influenced you and made friends with the Mel Robbins of the world and things like that, how did that um, how did that impact your energy?
It was a whole different energy because you you if you it's almost like if you take on trash all day, you're not gonna be happy because it's smelly, it's trashy. You're like, "Ugh," like that,
Right.
and your body feels it, right? But when you take in the positive and you suddenly thoughts come up like, oh, I could do that too, like she did it or he did it, or I could try this, and these thoughts come up and they're almost like a reflex. You're not actively doing it, but because you have all that influence, you have all that the positivity that you're reading. And I'm not for like that toxic positivity. You have to be positive all the time. Like that's not how it works. Life is life, and things happen, and situations appear like you have to deal with. Not everything is just roses and rainbows and unicorns.
I
But
love
when
rainbows and unicorns and
I know, me
and
too.
roses and sparkles and flowers and daisies.
And
I'm like,
glitter.
yes! And glitter. No, no
Yes.
glitter. No,
No.
no, no
But
glitter. No, no to glitter. I'm a girl mom. No to glitter.
you too. You too. Only in your mind, not on the
Yes,
in real
yes,
life.
only in my mind, not in real life, right? So when your energy shifted, did you feel that it attracted? Like, how did your what did you attract change? How did your abundance and connection to fulfillment and abundance shift?
It was like a totally different mindset because you also then when that energy shifts, you also see the positive things that are actually happening in your life, like
Yeah.
you finding a penny on the street, like you wouldn't have if you've been negative and you're like just pitying yourself all day. You wouldn't even look for anything. But it's also like that different energy. You're looking, you have a different outlook on how you go through life, what you look for. And the other thing that I did, and because of all the people that I followed and heard and what they were doing, is that to be grateful. I know that's also very cliche and stereotype, and a lot of people, like, especially when you're in a darker place and you're like, you're that negative person and everything is just bad. You're like, what can I be grateful for? You find the most basic things, like for getting up, for being able to get up, for being able to breathe, for being able to take a shower, for things like that, for seeing the sunshine, seeing having a dog, anything and
Hmm.
everything. And I just experience. I've done that for years now. Like I had the little exercise, and I know that's a lot of people might know that. But before you get up, you think of three things that you're grateful for. When you go to bed, you think of another three things that you're grateful for during the day. You can also write it
Cool.
down depending on who you are, right? Some people like that better than
Hmm.
just saying it. What I've discovered, and I encourage anyone to do it, I love going for walks, or not even if you don't go for walks and you just go shopping or on the way to shopping or on the way to whatever your work. Um, do like a gratitude talk, like for like the next 5-10 minutes, however long it is. Speak out loud to say, I'm thankful for XYZ. And continue to do it until you're at your destination.
Let
When I
me
did
let me
that,
hear how this practice is for you. So let's pretend,
yeah,
right? Let's pretend you're on a walk, which I love
yeah,
a walk because like it's got that meditation. I really
yes.
like when you that meditation walk. So let me hear. Just give us an example of how that conversation looks for you or sounds for you.
For me, it was pretty simple. And I always walk with my dog. He also gets the exercise. But I would say, I'm thankful for being able to walk. I'm thankful and for us, I'm in Washington State. There's a lot of rain and drizzle and gloomy days. So usually I wouldn't have been very thankful to be here. because I
No,
need
no,
the
but
sunshine.
let's pretend. We're gonna
Yes, yes,
pretend right now.
yes.
So no
I would also,
explanation. You don't have to justify yourself. You don't have to explain.
yeah.
Just let us hear how this works for you.
Okay. I'm thankful that I'm able to go for a walk. I'm thankful that it's raining because it's nurturing the plants. I'm thankful that my dog is here. I'm thankful that I can breathe fresh air. I'm thankful that I can walk. I'm thankful for the houses. I'm thankful that there's a school right there. I'm thankful uh, for there's a trash can so I can put my doggy back in. I'm thankful for having a coat so I'm not gonna get wet. I'm thankful for cars because I love cars. I love driving. I'm thankful for uh, I don't know. I'm running out of things, but I'm thankful for having internet. Like, and then I would go out. So I would go into what I see around me, what I'm doing, and then
Mhm.
go further. Like, I'm thankful for my internet. I'm thankful that I have a cell phone that I can talk to my family. I'm thankful for my favorite TV show. I'm thankful for being able to go on a vacation. I'm thankful for my house. I'm thankful for my clothes. I'm thankful for my bed. I'm thankful that I had a good sleep. All like
Wow.
anything and everything.
I love that. And I thank you for going into these examples because I think what you covered were a lot of things that some of us might want to take for granted, right? We're
Yeah.
like, why should I be thankful for a house? And you know what's funny? Sometimes I tell my friends, I'm like, oh, I'm in the middle of all this. I'm just like, I'm so, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so, and I'm like, no, I'm thankful that this is a problem I have. I'm thankful for this problem because like I worked really hard to have this problem, to get to where I have this problem. So that's I sometimes I'll say I'm thankful to have this problem to solve, right? As a
I love that.
in another one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It,
so I love that. Thank you for going through those examples. I think sometimes people think that it has to be big. Like just thank you for the having the this coat to keep me dry in the rain, right?
yes.
Thank you for the internet. Thank you for my cell phone for because I like to talk to my family. Those are, and then that brings me thank you for having a family that I'm
Hmm.
thankful to talk to. Like, how wonderful is that? So, what are some other, so you walk every day with your dog. What are some other self-care strategies that you have?
That's another big one because self care. When I first thought about it, it was like getting a massage, getting to the spa treatment, or whatever else. That is what everybody thinks about self care. Like, I don't have time, I don't have money was like my first challenge or problem with it. I'm like, I can't do that. I can take care of myself. But it starts with, like, for me, literally having like 10 minutes to myself in the morning. Taking a shower that's 5 minutes instead of 30 minutes where I don't have to rush. Um, Going for a walk. I do Tony Robbins priming. It's literally on YouTube. Anybody can look for it. I love doing that. And you
Oh,
have to
Christina,
find.
add that link. That prime, that breathe, it is, we're going to add that in the comments. My husband loves that. And I'm so glad you brought that up because he was doing it and we were kind of doing it and we kind of forgot all about it. And like, talk about opening up. So you do that on a regular. That is, oh, thank you for bringing that up. That is life changing right there. Tell folks exactly what that is. Like you're like brought it up and was about to go on. I'm like, no, 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 no. Let's go into why this is so important and critical. Like, let's not brush over this, okay? We can skip some other conversations. Let's dive deep into this one part right here. So
Oh, I love
good.
it. Yes, I hated it at first, so take it with an open mind. But it's 15 minutes, and Tony Robbins is walking you through pretty much it. I don't even know what I call it. He calls it priming, but it's like getting you in a good energy.
We're going to start. Remember, our hands are going to extend up as we take the breath in. Blow it out hard. Here we go.
Getting you set up. I love doing it before calls. I love doing it as soon as I get up because it's setting you
Mhm.
up for the day. And it's literally, he walks you through it the whole time. It's almost like a guided meditation, but with visualization too, and that gratitude all in one. So you're set up. But literally, like, a breathing exercise at first. And I love, there's so many good breathing exercises as well out there.
Yeah.
but he does that like 30 seconds. It's literally, it gets your body started. And then he asks you to think about what you're grateful for, what you're thankful for. And you can
Yeah.
always change that. It doesn't have to be the same thing, and it doesn't have to be anything big. And he says that too. It can be something small. And I love that he
Yeah.
does that too.
And I
Um,
like he said, and you got to feel it, like
yeah,
feel, like be in gratitude. Like it changes the chemistry. What he's doing,
yeah,
he's changing our chemistry,
yeah.
right?
It's like how feel when you were there. What did you hear? How did you feel? All these things to get you connected to that feeling. Because yes, like you said, everything is energy. Um, and then from there, it goes into the meditation. It's like cleansing your body from the inside with, he calls it like a light. And again, it's like with breathing, connected with a breathing exercise, to really get you cleansed and get you in a good spirit and in good energy. But he also like helps you then pour it into others, and think of the people that you want to help to have good energy, and not only the people that you love, but maybe even some co-workers that you struggle with, your boss that you struggle with. Give them the light and the energy. And I feel like that is just insane. And I know there have been so many exercises and studies on that, sending energy, that it's actually it works. It's a thing. It's real. They can measure it.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
also going into then like the visualization exercise of what do you want to accomplish? What is your success? What do you want to accomplish today, tomorrow, in the next month, in the next year? And it can be, again, anything, but it opens you up to think bigger and actually have goals. Because that I feel is that I struggled with is like, yeah, I had that idea of I want to make more money, for example, right? But
Hmm.
what do I want to do? Like, what does that look like? How what does it mean when I have more money? What do I do with the money? Like, that
Right.
is so important to understand as well.
Yeah, so many people, I think it's so easy to go on autopilot,
Yeah.
right? Versus feeling your day, feeling your life, and living your life. And when you talk to people who visit with people who are on their last, who are in the process of dying, right? Or we all are, but like on their deathbed, like you think about that, right? So, what are some common challenges or obstacles that folks have, and how should they overcome it? Like, give me some like challenges that folks have for like going forth and finding their joy. Is it like worthiness? Is it like they don't know how? Like, what is it, and how do they overcome that?
Yes, that it's about the attitude. But like you said, I think it's the trust, it's the worthiness, and the biggest thing that I've learned on my journey is to understand that just because I'm I am perfect. I am good enough. I don't need another certification. I don't need to know exactly how to do something. I can figure it out. And it goes back to the worthiness, the trust yourself,
Hmm.
respect yourself with what we said earlier. Like, don't just say yes to everything. Yes, say yes to the things to try out and see if you like them or not, or if it's up your alley, if you want to continue more and learn more about something. But if it's not, don't feel bad about saying no. No is a complete sentence. It always will be.
I love this, and I'm also gonna just come right out and say it. So that is
Yes.
so easy to say, right? Yeah, just
Yep.
say no. No is a complete sentence. But but people are like, oh, but I hear it all the time. I feel guilty, but saying that, but. How do we overcome this challenge, right? To say yes. Like I think there's so many folks who just have this need inside of them, or this desire or whatever, to say yes. How do they say no and feel like it is the right thing to, like you and like I feel like we know, right? And there's times where I say yes to something, I'm like, wait, why did that? So how do you
Yep.
overcome that?
I'm a people pleaser. I would love to say yes to everybody and everything. It's just
I
not
think we're
possible.
all people pleasers. It's just some of us don't know um, how to prioritize the people,
Hmm.
serving the people and the needs first, like, or in areas that we can be of best service. Because when we say
Yes.
yes
And
to
that's,
A, that means we're saying no to B. If we're saying yes to this person, we're
yeah.
saying no to these people that we might be able to serve better. And then they said yes,
Yeah.
we said yes to them, and then they're like they could have found somebody who could have served them better, but instead I took that space from somebody else.
Yeah. I love that. I actually love that perspective, and I think that's a good perspective to look at it when you have that struggle of I cannot just say no. But the no is not just in your best interest; it's also in the other person's best interest. Because if you say yes to something that you wanted to say no to, you're not gonna be there 100%. You're not gonna give your best, the best version of you. The other person is not getting the best version of you. So that is like the other coin of it, and you have to repeat that to yourself. Everything like building the trust, understanding your worthiness, being able to say no. It's repetition. It's not for me. It didn't come just now I feel worthy. What? No, that didn't happen overnight. It was a process.
Right.
And I did, different exercises like Mel Robbins' 5 second rule, that liking myself, getting to know myself again.
Oh, her high five
Louis Hay
challenge.
is
Have you seen her high five challenge?
a high five challenge.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's a good
I
one.
mean, that alone, like if you're someone, I was that someone, like I could not look myself in the mirror. I hated myself. Not hated myself, but I hated what I
You
saw.
were
I hated
critical
myself
of
in pictures.
yourself.
I hated
Yeah.
the video. Yeah, all of that. So being able to do that high five challenge was like a whole different ball game, and that took a while to get there.
Mm.
It was not a one day to the next. When the first time I did it, I was like, what are you doing?
Right?
Um, but continue to do it, especially like when you have those boundaries. It's because your body, your mind want to keep you safe in your comfort zone, but that doesn't mean you need to stay there. Get out of it and then get a little bit uncomfortable. Challenge yourself. I think that's the biggest thing, that you just have to be open-minded to challenge yourself consistently. That you have to grow, or you're gonna be. You can ask yourself that, like, if I don't do it, I'm gonna be in the same place next year,
Yeah.
and
I
I still gonna complain about the same
over
things.
and over again. I love how you are so open to sharing your vulnerability and that how you overcame that. Like, because I think that so many folks, they feel like it's just them that feels that way, right? All of us, I like everything that you said, I've heard pretty much across the board. Like almost everybody I've ever met has some shape and form of these feelings, right?
Mm.
So the fact that you acknowledge, yeah, I didn't like it when I first started, but I did it anyways. I felt kind of silly doing that when I first started, but I did it
Yeah.
anyways. And because I did it anyways, you've seen transformation, you've seen growth, and you've seen a life fueled by joy. So I
Yes.
love
And
that.
I will tell you, I will give you two more exercises for everybody.
Ooh,
That some people might not like me for it, but I'm telling you, if you do them, you will have a completely different life. Again, they're very simple. There's nothing crazy complicated about it, but the work is actually in doing the thing. That is not the simple part. But the two things are, I mentioned Louise Hay earlier. I love Louise Hay. She's not with us anymore, unfortunately, but read her books. But the one exercise that she did, or what she was very famous for, is what's called mirror work. And she pretty much said that you have to look yourself in the mirror and say something nice. I couldn't do that when I started. Like I said,
give
I
me an
couldn't like
example.
even
Like say
look
something
myself
nice.
in the mirror.
Like what? Like what would you say?
I would like something like, I like you. Like it just
So
even that, or
simple.
I like your hair. So simple. Yeah. I couldn't do that. I couldn't even look myself in the mirror. Like even looking at it, I'm like, I felt weird, awkward, right? So my exercise started, if you're anything like me, I challenged myself, like for the first few days, I just looked in the mirror. I didn't smile. I just 5 seconds at least looking at
Did you
myself and
cry?
not looking away.
Did you cry? Just curious.
I
How did that feel?
not really cried. It was really awkward and embarrassing and just weird. I'm like, again, the thoughts that I had was like, why are you doing this? Like, who are you thinking you are? Like, you're not gonna get through this. Like, you're that shy person, you're the introvert, you're all that, and that came through it. But again, just stick with it. And also, like, if you don't do it the next day because you remember how awkward you feel, give yourself grace. Like, you just because you're not doing it regularly, just do it the next day.
Right.
You know, do it
Do it the next
time.
the next
doesn't
first chance
mean
you
anything.
get. I love that. And
Exactly.
thank you so much for sharing those feelings, because I think it is when you start something new, because a lot of times folks talk about them. They're like, just go in the mirror and just tie and it's like you feel silly. And I don't think that's talked about enough, that awkward feeling, that
Yeah.
hard feeling, the negative self-talk that you have given yourself. But you become, when you're standing there in the mirror and you hear that talk, you become so much aware, and like
Yeah.
maybe write it down and say, okay, rephrase that into a way that serves you. So I love that
Yeah.
mirror work. I love that you brought that up. Thank you for sharing that. What's the second thing?
The second thing is whenever I get very nervous. And I still get very nervous. And I think I heard somebody say, no matter what you do, if you do something new, it's normal. You're not different. You're not weird. Everybody does
You're
it.
not
Some
that
people are
special.
just
Don't
better
think
at
you're
hiding it.
special because you're nervous. Everybody gets nervous. Like, you're not that special.
Yes.
Whoever you are, if you think you've got these crazy feelings and you think you're special because you have these crazy feelings, you're not that special. Everybody gets those feelings. I love it.
Yes,
Okay.
everybody. But when you go to that next thing, um, think about what you want to accomplish. Like for me, the example that I have, like 8 years ago, I challenged myself because I was so shy and I didn't want to talk to anybody. And literally, when somebody talked to me, I started crying because I was like, I don't want to talk. I don't want to hear them listening to me. Also being like German and not English is not my native language. Like I was very self-conscious about all the things.
Ooh.
And so I challenged myself to go to local networking events, to meet
Good
people, because
job.
also with my husband being military, I didn't know anybody when I went, to a new base.
Yeah.
And so then I was there, and for me it was like I didn't know what to say. Like you had like 3 minutes to introduce yourself and all the things, and I was like, that is very awkward. But instead of that, like before I went into the room, I thought about what do I want to get out of this, and how do I want to feel, and how do I want other people to feel when they connect with me, and went through
Ah.
that exercise. And that's all the thing, like especially when you have, I feel like maybe a lot of people can relate, when they have a boss or a coworker that they don't like, or a client they're working with they don't like. Instead of deepening that feeling of not liking or dreading connecting with them, think about, just wish them well. Say in your head, like, I love them. I hope that they have a great day. I hope that everything works out for them. Like, give them the good. Send them the good vibes.
They
I
need it.
promise
They need it more than anybody.
they need it. I had a client literally that didn't like women. Like, obviously said it out loud, said it to my face, but I still had to meet with him. And that's what I did. And guess what? He didn't say anything negative about me anymore. He just took the meeting and it was fine. And I didn't have to dread it anymore.
Yeah.
I just did it all the time. It really works.
And I love
You
it.
just have to do it. Again, action.
I love that you talked about the feeling that you want to have, because I think a lot of times we go into what am I going to say? What am I going to do? It's more about those technical, and you're like, how do I want this feeling? What feeling do I want the other person and for me to have from this meeting. Everything, and then trust everything else will solve itself, because people all the time, how's that saying go? It says people don't remember what you say, they remember how you made them feel. And I love that you
Yes.
went specifically there. That is phenomenal advice. Thank you for sharing that. Um,
Oh, you're welcome.
that's fantastic. So as we wrap up, is there anything else that you want to make sure that we touch on before we leave today?
I think we touched on a lot of things. My biggest thing is, if you are in a situation where everything sucks, literally you wake up and you say to yourself, everything sucks. I can't do anything. I'm not amounting to anything. My life is a wreck. Like I've never achieved anything. Write down. It's similar to the gratitude list. But every one of us have achieved something, and I mean, where we learn to crawl, we learn to walk, we learn to write, we learn to speak, we learn to read. You might think, oh yeah, everybody can do that. No, not everybody, and everybody might have had struggles, and those are the basic things that you need. That is all you need to do whatever you want.
Right. And starting
Like
with that,
literally.
and that practice is the gratitude. The practice isn't the thing about what that you're grateful for. I'm grateful for red blood cells. I'm grateful for white blood cells. I'm grateful to have a
Yep.
mouth to eat with. So the lesson is in learning how to be grateful, and rewiring, because I think you're right. Like once you start like making those connections in your brain, right? And then the more you do
Mm-hmm.
it, the more connections you have. And then it just becomes like a big old freeway of connections of gratitude. But at first, it's probably a really rough path at first. You're like, you need an all-wheel drive
Yeah.
vehicle to get down that path of gratitude. But after you start
Yes.
using that road a whole lot, and carving that road, that path, it becomes a smoother, easier, wider path to continue down.
It does,
That's
and it
great.
becomes like a reflex too.
Yes,
Exactly.
that becomes the preferred route over all routes.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Your GPS is automatic from that point on, because and don't get me wrong,
Love
I
that
don't want
GPS. I
anybody to
love
think
that.
that
Yeah.
again, yeah, that I don't have negative thoughts. It
We all
That's
have.
just how we are.
Yeah.
That's we're humans.
Right.
This is just everything is negativity is so much easier. It's so much like, that's why we like the news, right?
Oh, don't watch the news.
Talking about other people,
Don't watch the news.
gossip,
Don't do that.
talking
Yeah.
about celebrities, all of those things. It's just easier. The positivity, the love, those type of feelings take more effort to practice. But once you do it, it's then, yes, I still have negative thoughts, but I have the reflex now to switch it.
Nice.
That I know myself. I had, written down my achievements. I written down my strengths. Like another one, because I feel like a lot of people are going through this. Like when you're laid off from your job or fired or whatever, you think you're the worst person, and you really feel like you can't do anything because you suck. You got let go from a job, that you should be able to do, and you studied for, or whatever else. But instead of that, like, say you got the job in the first place, so you're capable.
Right.
It's just that there's another one that's waiting for you that's so much better. Like, reframe it like that. And I know it's very, very hard. Like, believe me, I've been in all types of situations that are not cool, that are not nice, that
Yeah.
and I'm the emotional person, and that's another thing that I want to leave people with. Like, don't feel like you can go through the emotions of self-pity, of crying. Cry it out. That is
Feel
one
the
thing
feel.
that I love. Yeah, feel the feelings, feel it. It's just a matter of picking yourself up again. And for me, like, crying is almost like a release. I'm cleansing myself. I'm crying it out so it's not stuck in my body, right?
You're not
Like,
holding
think
on to
about
it. You're
that,
letting
and
it.
it's
It's your way
okay.
of letting it go. Yeah. I
Yes.
love that.
Yeah.
And then when you let it go,
So,
you give yourself space to fill it with gratitude, right?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Everything is okay. Every feeling is okay. It's just like, what do you do next? right? And having those tools, those resources to be able to move forward. Again, like you said many times, it's not just a switch and everything's great. Work through it, but it's so worth it, because once you work through one of the challenges, life can throw challenges at you that you thought you would never be able to live through, and you will be. And everybody's looking at you like, why are you so strong? How are you so strong? What do you do? And it's because of those little things that you did every day, or consistently, regularly, that you became that.
You built the
And that's
muscle, and the muscle got stronger, and you became stronger, and now and the muscle that you exercise is the muscle that gets stronger. I love that. Christina
exactly.
Hall, that's a great name, by the way. Christina Hall, thank you for sharing your joy-fueled life. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I loved our conversation. This is what I live for,
Oh,
having those conversations.
thanks.
Hopefully giving other people some hope, that there's more, and you can do it too, no matter where you're at in your
There's
life.
so much to be hopeful for and so much joy in this world. And I love that you're teaching how to unpack and to fill with joy. Thank you.